Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. I'm here for the next hour and I'll be going over the news that I accumulated over the last night. Went to the city council meeting, and without a doubt this is going to be one of the most important videos that I'm going to make at least this month, unless something big happens. Well, we got the State of the City coming up. That's on the 23rd. We got the State of the City that's going to happen at John Furby Center here in Desert Hot Springs. I hate that it has to be centered around politics so much, that my broadcast is about that so much. But it really ties everybody together, and it's important for people to become aware of what's changing around them that's related to politics. Politics affects everybody, for sure. Their future is affected by it, and their how do you say it? Their livelihood, their financial situation is affected by it, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So you either need to get on board with learning what they're doing, or you're going to get run over. There's somebody that commented on Independent in Desert Hot Springs Facebook page and said, "Who cares?" In one of the videos. Well, that's apathy. That's exactly what the system wants. They want you to not care, and they got him. Either that, or he's trying to encourage other people to say, "Don't look at this stuff," because there's lots of possible outcomes behind what people are saying on commenting. That's called trolling. If he really meant it, then they got him. He's apathetic. He's like, doesn't affect me. Who cares? Or he's again trying to say, others shouldn't look at it. So, and that's the way the system designed itself over a long period of time, was to get you to not care. So I've got a couple of bigger articles coming up I'm going to be posting, but since this is the first week of my broadcasts, I'm kind of getting to know it and feeling it out and learning how to work out some bugs in doing this, and it's getting more and more refined, more and more streamlined. So it's going to get better and better as we go along, and I'm having a great time. It's a new level of my involvement in bringing awareness to people. Because let me tell you, what happened last night, the city council meeting, my mind was blown by what happened. At one point, the mayor said something so ridiculous, so absurd, that I had to break out in laughter. And he said to me, he said, "Would you like to come up and make a comment?" And I said, "No, you do not want to hear what I have to say." I apologized for the outburst. So what we had last night was absolute pure gold. Pure gold, because it's getting to the point with the city and how they're running Desert Hot Springs. It's getting to the point where I'm actually getting out ahead of them, and I'm able to now predict their moves before they make them. And in live time at the meeting, I was sitting there next to Desert Hot Springs Cruise-In founder David Desmarais. I see, that's weird because I'm from New Hampshire and it's pronounced Damaris up there. I had lots of French Canadian names I went to school with, and they were Eastern Canadian influence in New Hampshire. They've come down from Canada, and a lot of French names. Also a lot of French names that came over established in the colonies. But Damaris, I hear him say Desmarais, so maybe that's what he prefers. I'm sure it's what he prefers. So I was sitting next to David Desmarais, I'll call him Damaris, and I was telling him in live time what they're going to do, and it was I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and we're going to go over it. We're going to go over what they were doing. So, but before we do that, let's talk about what happened yesterday. It was windy, very windy yesterday. I mean, I'd never driven in that kind of wind. I was driving back up from Palm Desert area and up the 10, and wow, well, that was powerful. Trucks were swaying, and this electric sign was blown over on Palm. I stopped and took a couple pictures of it. That was pretty surprising, and it was even more concerning because there's another one up the road up there between Camino Aventura and Vista Montana where it's sitting in the median, and it had, I think the wind had turned it sideways a bit, and it was powered down. They powered it down, or it powered itself down. So I was concerned that was going to blow over into the oncoming lane going up Palm. So that was shocking to see that. Shocking also in the sense that those are batteries in there. That's a solar panel that charges those batteries. I hope they're sealed batteries because when battery packs, these are all batteries under here. When batteries turn over, they leak out all their acid. So I was concerned that that was going on because it's just sitting there. Nobody was trying to ride it, or nobody was there working on it. It was just like a piece of garbage that blew off a truck. So that was pretty interesting yesterday. It was crazy wind. Wow. And all the big cloud heads over Whitewater Preserve up there. It was crazy. Giant. Some people were saying it was like a little prophetic or a little biblical in nature. So that was going on yesterday. And what else do we have? So we've got this is the biggest news, the biggest gold I've got is centered around. Where is it over here? We're going to go back and we're going to show right here. So we're going to go deeper into this. Councilmember Aniela Zavala. That's where the gold rests, right there in this broadcast right to you today. That's where the gold is. Because let me tell you, what she said was astounding in my head, because I'm very aware of a lot of subsystems going on underneath the surface and overhead too. See, the frequency that they keep you in is this visible line of frequency where, I mean, for most of the meeting last night, Councilmember Russell Betts, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on this broadcast mostly on the city council meeting because they come up every 2 weeks. So, in between the city council meetings, there's going to be a lot of other covering of other topics and things like that. So today is mostly about city council meeting last night. So Russell Betts talks about, we go to these meetings, with Riverside County Transit. We go to these meetings with CVAG, and we're not there just goofing off. We're actually doing work. And that's what he says. And then he moves on to another subject. I went to the meeting, or she went to the meeting, or he went to the meeting, the mayor went to the meeting, and they did some good stuff. And then he moves on. That's the visible light spectrum that they keep you in, which is very uninformed. They want you to believe that they're working for you, that they're hard at work for you, that they're doing great things for you, but they don't tell you what they're doing. They tell you very little of what they're doing. I focus on what they're actually doing. That sub base and that over base of information that they don't ever talk about, really. They say, we met, we gave out some prizes at the women's, meeting, and it was good, some scholarships. That's what they talk about. But Aniela Zavala, when she went through her briefing for the last 2 weeks, she put out some amazing information. And if you don't know what it is, you miss it. But if you do, you really get it. Now let's go to her. The first clip I have of her when she first reported on what she did for the last 2 weeks, because there's that portion, and then there's later on in the meeting relating to her. It was one of the agenda items. I didn't bring the agenda in. So let's let her talk.
I also attended the Women's Club Scholarship ceremony, and it was great. So Jen is the new president, and it was a great event, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. I also attended the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission meeting, and just as a quick update,
This is it.
Our target is to conserve 200,000 acres of land over 45 years.
That's where it hits first brick of gold right there. Okay. What she's talking about is walling land off. Now we're going to look up sustainable map United States. And what we're going to see, hopefully if it comes up, I didn't prepare this, is right here. Okay, so you've got a sustainability map. Now what this is, all the red is all land that's off limits. Okay, it shows right in here. This is sustainability. This is what the conservation committee that she went to. This is all they talk about: a sustainable land control, things like that. So what she started in on was their goal is 200,000 acres over the next 40 years. And this is the first part of what's amazing, because she's telling you that they're going to take the land and they're going to make it open space and off limits. And what that means is they're going to fence it off. And then to go on it, if you get caught on it, they're going to tell you got to leave. And that's what all this is. This is your United States, and this is all the red is off limits to people. And then you're gonna see all that grow. We're somewhere over in here, and that's our area. You can see it. You can kind of see it right in here. You know, right in there. That there's all kinds of red in there. And the yellow is a very limited use. So very limited. That's probably what the parks are going to be. But the red is going to be completely no human use. They're gonna conservation. Okay, giving it over to animals, things like that. So humans are going to be like if you look at our city of Desert Hot Springs and you look at the mountains around us and the mountains, San Jacinto and all that's off limits. It's going to be off limits. If it's not already, it's going to be off limits. That's what. So what they're going to do is they're going to conserve and conserve and conserve and conserve and conserve and conserve and conserve all the way down to where whatever's left is just the city. They're eventually over the next 45. She's telling you their plan. She's telling you they're going to conserve 200,000 acres in the next 40 years. So let's go back and listen to her a little bit more. Where is it here?
Our target so far to date has been conserving 4,850 acres, but we've actually conserved 11,381 acres, so we've surpassed our target as of now, so that's really exciting.
Exciting.
I did attend the CVAG Energy and Environment Commission for Gary, and we covered a few things. It's a bit technical, but I'll try to summarize it in the best way that I can. Apparently, regions have EPA air standards.
This is the second. This gets halfway into the gold bar. That little bit got into the gold because it's important for you to know these things. You need to know where they're going, and I'm telling you what they're going to do. And this is the next portion right here. Okay, EPA. This is more shocking than her telling you they're going to take 200,000 acres of land from us, and just hand it off to a I don't know, United Nations group or whatever. That's what's going on. This is a usurping and a taking away of your country from you through these people. These people are handing other people your country right out of your hands. These people. This woman is selling it to you right here. Either she knows it or she doesn't know it. One of the two is happening. If she knows it, shame on her. If she doesn't know it, I'm telling her this is what she's doing. And if she ignores me, then that's her problem. But you need to wake up and see it. So here we go, EPA now. Let's listen to this. Listen to this shocking thing she says right here.
And they get a certain grade, so to speak, a classification based on the pollution in the area.
Okay, so she's really trying to be, it's kind of delicate, she's playing really like a little mouse, the EPA gets a grading based upon the area, she's saying. Now she's leading you into what she's going to tell you next, which is that you are in trouble. You are in trouble for other people. For what other people do, you're in trouble. So watch this.
classified as severe, but unfortunately we're going to have to reclassify as extreme.
Okay, so now the EPA is taking our air quality, which I've lived in Los Angeles area. It is beautiful out here. So they're now scaring you. She's scaring you, saying that the air quality went from severe to now it's extreme. You know, the planet's gonna boil over tomorrow. And wait till I break down what she says.
Not because we're doing anything terrible.
Exactly. The air quality is extreme, not because we're doing anything terrible.
But because the weather actually impacts the air pollution in the air, and
weather impacts the air pollution in the air, is what she said.
We've had all across the entire southwestern United States some very unusual hot and dry summers, which have impacted our air pollution.
Okay, so any weather now is being blamed on the bad air quality. If it's hot, makes bad air quality. If it's cold, makes bad air quality. If it rains, makes bad air quality. If it's windy, makes bad air quality. So you can't win. She's basically saying that you are in trouble any way you go. Any way you want to walk around, you're still in. You're in trouble. So you're going to do what we say because you're going to lose either way you go.
And then our wildfires that we've had as well.
Sure. Wildfires, rain, doesn't matter. It's all causing air quality. So it's all total BS propaganda.
Basically, we don't really have a choice as to whether or not we want to reclassify to extreme.
Yeah, they're just going to tell you got to do it anyway. So you don't have a choice. She's telling you don't have a choice. You can't tell us no. You can't tell us. You can't bring any more facts that to us that may counter what we're saying because you don't have a choice. This is authoritarianism right here.
Have until June to meet the deadline. We know that we'll hit our goals by 2024, but if we don't.
Oh, this is like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying airplanes got to go, and the mayor of New York City saying skyscrapers have to all be torn down. Now we have until 2024 to reclassify.
Switch the classification, we'll start getting charged penalties.
Oh, it just keeps. I mean, she's pile driving you right now. She's basically saying if you don't act and do something that you didn't about what you didn't do, the penalties are going to come and they're going to pass it on to you. They're going to pass all of this cost incurred onto you through limiting what you can do. They're going to say you gotta move into an apartment. I don't know what else to say. You gotta take the bus. You know. And the way they'll say that is they'll say, we have no choice anymore. The air quality is so bad. Even though you look up in the sky and be like, well, I feel great. You know, and you'll see that you go to other places like China where it's completely blacked out with smog and they don't have to do anything. But we in Riverside County have to do something because Los Angeles, I mean, what was the point of all the PZAV cars? Practically zero emission vehicles? What was the point of all that? There wasn't a point. It was all building up to them taking everything away from you. That was the plan all along. So if nothing we can do ever is going to do anything to save us, then why not live like kings? Why not go nuts? I'm not saying that, but I mean this doesn't make any sense. This is the truest form of ridiculous, centralized power that's just going to take everything away from you. You better wake up and listen to what's going on because she's telling you they're going to pass the costs on to you because when they say it's going to cost us more, then she's saying it's going to be passed on to you. Let's hear it again.
But we have until June to meet the deadline. We know that we'll hit our goals by 2024, but if we don't switch the classification, we'll start getting charged penalties. So even though we didn't want to do it because we know we're going to hit our goals by 2024, we have to reclassify to avoid paying the penalty fees. And then I just also wanted people to know because I was a little alarmed. I hadn't sat in that.
Oh, see, I'm scared too, but together we can get through this. Remember, this is okay. This is what I wanted to go over with you guys yesterday, but I didn't have it in my hands. That's what I'm gonna show you. Consolidation of control over your city of Desert Hot Springs. Okay? So here we have state control. So we'll have California. California control. This is the folder that they're going to put us in. Full state control. It's already happened with the Mission Springs Water District, and we're going to go back at the end of this this discussion about Councilmember Eni Zavala. We're going to talk about the poor people who were there paraded in front of the city council last night. I felt so bad for those people, not because of their message, but because they were being used. So you have the water being consolidated. These people go to meetings. This woman and the mayor and the other city council members, they go to meetings of centralized control over Desert Hot Springs. Okay, so we're gonna take these pieces of paper, and I like metaphors and I like visuals. So we got DHS, we've got Cathedral City, we got Rancho Mirage, and we got each one of these can be each different city. Coachella, Indio, and you can take them all. You know, they all used to be their own cities. They used to be their own cities run by themselves, run by their people. They still tell you today that you're running your own city. They're telling you that, but it's not true. So because what they've done is they've taken our neighboring cities and they've moved them into a consolidated system. This is what I was talking about they've colonized in a way. And it's been done through CVAG. It's been done through Riverside County Transit Commission and more of them. So now they've got control of your city into this subgroup. And then they're slowly inserting you into the California folder. And it's also in the California folder is, we'll say San Joaquin. Valley. All those cities in that area. So what they've done is they've slowly worked to subcategorize all the individual cities into one folders by themselves. So now all the cities in that San Joaquin, there's a problem going on with what's called with San Diego area government SANDAG. Yeah, that's what it is. SANDAG. San Diego Association of Governments. CVAG, Coachella Valley Association of Governments. Every region every city has been inserted into a subcategory, a subregion, like the SANDAG, San Diego Association of Governments, Coachella Valley Association of Governments. You can go all up and down the state of California and you can find there's all these subcategories. They've put the cities under control by these subcategories. And they're slowly going to take these files of these cities and they're going to move them, and that's what they did with the Water District, again, DWA. They're putting it under the control of the state, and it's going to continue to put those states are going to go into another category very slowly. I added the link to one of my last videos. They're all calling for global government. They're going to take your city and they're going to insert it into that file under those sub-regions, and you're going to be colonized. They're doing it slowly, and this woman is helping it along. So is the mayor, so is Councilmember Russell Betts, so is Councilmember Jan Pye, and so is our new friend, Councilmember Gary Gardner. They're all part of it. They're doing it. They're inserting your city into a new leader. They're taking the city away from you, piece by piece. And they're telling you, we're going to limit your future because now the EPA has said, which is a corrupt organization, or a department of the federal government, very corrupt. Sorry, it makes me so angry to see these people do this to unwitting people that are out there. So let's go a little further, because we haven't quite struck the pure gold yet.
Commission before, and I was thinking, oh my God, we're classified as severe. I'm scared right now, but
Smiling.
it actually turns out that even if we were to lower pollution in the Coachella Valley to zero, that would only lower, I believe, the ozone pollution by, I think, 2 to 3 parts per billion compared to the 90 parts per billion that we're at right now.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what she just said? Even if in the Coachella Valley we were to lower our output of particulate to zero, nothing, no cars, no manufacturing, nothing coming out of any buildings at all, zero. Everybody just sleeping on the ground, not making anything, and just living off of eating cactus. Okay, even if we lowered it to zero, it would only reduce the particulate 2 to 3%, 2 to 3 points, and right now it's at 90. So at best, if we went to zero, it would only bring it down to 87. You hear what she's telling you? She's not blaming where it's coming from. She's blaming you. She's saying she's getting you ready for what's coming. Getting you ready.
Even if we were to lower pollution in the Coachella Valley to zero, that would only lower, I believe, the ozone pollution by, I think, 2 to 3 parts per billion compared to the 90 parts per billion that we're at right now. So in reality, our pollution is really just coming from LA, unfortunately. And there's really not much that we can do about lowering LA's pollution.
See, not much we can do, so we just have to pay the price. There is stuff we can do, and this is all bull. This is total crud right here, what she's saying. There's nobody verifying this. It's their numbers with their agenda behind it, and that's it. That's it.
So something that we did discuss was maybe, I know the supervisor mentioned maybe getting in touch with some of the boards out in LA and figuring out, okay, like how can we work together, because we're kind of having to pay for your mistakes right now. So trying to establish some sort of relationship, even though we know that we can't obligate them to do anything. But
there you go. Work together. Work together. What are we going to do about what they're doing? And who's proving that what they're doing is coming here? I mean, sure, there are days when stuff probably blows here. I mean, stuff gets up in the jet stream and comes in from China. You know, some of their factory stuff comes over here. Why? Because you can measure what their factories are putting out, and then you can measure that on the ground soil in parts of our country. The jet stream carries up stuff up overhead. But what she's saying is that we have to pay the price, and we have to hire people in our government to work with them to discuss options, when what she said was there's nothing we can do anyway.
Having a conversation never hurts. So figuring out, okay, like how can we work together, because we're kind of having to pay for your mistakes.
There she
right
says it.
Now, so
we're paying for your mistakes, and believe me, they're going to make us pay for those mistakes. That's not saying maybe we can get the mistakes, the paying for it to go away. Well, we're going to pay for it, all right. Everybody's going to pay. That's what this whole thing is about, is making everybody pay. Nobody is going to be spared from what they're doing. No one. They will be, but the average person will pay for this. And that's why all your gas is going up, because they're slowly getting it done. And if they do it really slow, you hopefully won't see it. I'm telling you, look for it. It's happening. So she's saying, no, pay for it anyway. Let's listen to it again.
Discuss was maybe, I know the supervisor mentioned maybe getting in touch with some
By the way, she works for the supervisor's office, I believe. She's tied to that.
of the boards out in LA and figuring out, okay, like how can we work together, because we're kind of having to pay for your mistakes right now. So trying to establish some sort of relationship, even though we know that we can't obligate them to do anything. But
Can't obligate them to do anything. So she's basically saying, this is where we're going. Nobody's gonna be able to do anything about it. You're gonna pay, and you're gonna give us money. It's like Al Gore says, just pay us money, and we'll make it all go away. That's ransom. That's like extortion. So pay, fines, penalties, pay for it. She's letting all of it out. She's soothing you into your casket.
having a conversation never hurts. So that was that, and another thing that was going on that we discussed was IID, which is the Public Utility Company.
Okay, then it got out of the more impactful stuff. She was talking about the Edison and the electric companies and what they're working with farmers and things like that, shares of control over things. Less about you. I'm sure it impacts you in smaller ways, but that was a big one. So she says she's leaving for law school. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up was that I would guess that what she's going to do is she's going to go off to law school if she does that. I mean, they tell you lies all the time, so I don't even know what she's doing. But if she goes to law school, I would bet $100 that she's going to come out of law school and she's going to be a lawyer for a city back in government, practicing law in government. She already knows the fruits of working for government. She already knows the payoffs and the board. She knows it. She has to see it by now. And either that or she's had enough and she's getting out and she wants no part of this. I don't know, but she's got a pretty good face about that. But what I see happening, and I love this stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to City of DHS. And believe me, I got the best. Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting into. So cityofdhs.org, and then we're going to go to, what was it, calendar? No, oh yeah. Wait. News and updates, yeah. Okay, so here we've got Vacancy Public Safety Commission. Where's that? More information. They post that? Commissioner Nina Duarte. Okay, so this is not the one I was looking for. I guess this must have popped up this morning or in the last couple days. I didn't see it over there. That was on May 21st. Yeah, it was posted yesterday. So they got a public safety commissioner that's leaving, Nina Duarte. So if you go further down on that news and updates, what we're going to get to is a big red flag to me in my head. Big one. Okay, right here, vacancy. Click here for more information. So, the Community Cultural Affairs Commission had a member on there, Michael Bork. He was supposed to be on there until January 2020. But he quietly backed out and gave up his seat. Very quietly. Not a lot of fanfare. Not a lot of discussion about that. Now what they went into at the city council meeting last night was how they're going to fill that seat. No, not fill that seat. How they were going to fill Councilmember Aniela Zavala's seat. They went into
For water and power out in the eastern part of the Coachella Valley.
I'm going to let this play, and I'm going to go get the agenda.
Edison, so it doesn't really impact us, but
actually, I'm going to take you back and
it seems as though when it
let you hear what she had to say before. Let the same thing play through that I played you already.
Club scholarship ceremony, and it was great. So Jen is the new president, and that was a great event. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. I also attended the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission meeting, and just as a quick update, our target is to conserve 200,000 acres of land over 45 years. Our target so far to date has been conserving 4,850 acres, but we've actually conserved 11,381 acres, so we've surpassed our target as of now, so that's really exciting. I did attend the CVAG Energy and
Okay, so you heard a little bit of what I already showed you there, and this is the agenda from last night, and as you can see, I took a lot of notes. I filled my pages, a couple pages with notes. in any open space I had. Now, what they put on here was, one of the agenda items was options to fill city council vacancy created by resignation of council member Eniel Zavala. Now I'm getting into the last third section of the pure gold that came up on the dais last night. Now, I could see these moves they were making. Now, what that was the move that I was showing you earlier was the these tabs are hard to read. Okay, so here's a move. Here's a move in that group right here. This right here is a move. That is on the chessboard. That is a move right there. That one leaving is a chessboard move. Now, if we go back further to earlier on the news and updates on the city website, we're gonna have to go a couple pages earlier. Next. This is older news they posted months ago, back February now. There's the mayor meeting with Gavin Newsom. Then we got back the Mike Tyson thing that took place down in the city. Vacancy. Community and Cultural Affairs Commission. Vacancy. We see another move on the chessboard right here. Two very familiar faces in our city. Two hugely not important. To me, they're not that important. They're players. They're players on the they're people. They're move pieces on the chessboard. Okay, they made a move. This was back in, when was this? January, I think it was. We'll read it back here. So we'll go back, see what date that was posted. Yeah, January 18th, 2019. Now let's think about how our city council and mayor operate. Okay, they handpick people. They handpick them. They have to approve them. So any Joe Schmo can apply for these positions, but they've already made up their mind once they see the applications. That's why I won't ever apply for this stuff. I want the voters to vote. You guys, not them. They will never allow me in because they know that I'm for the small guy. They're for themselves and their own power. And what they do is they handpick and they pre-decide who's going to be. So this here, when they were discussing this, I was laughing. I was laughing out loud. This was the one when the mayor, and I'll see if I can get to it later. This was when the mayor said, would you like to come up? I'll open the public comments. Would you like to speak? And I said, no, you don't want to hear what I have to say. So what they did was they ran down some choices, okay, options to fill. One of the choices was to have an application process, okay, have people apply for the city council position. Have people apply. I don't know if it's going to be anybody, but there are going to be people that are going to apply for that. Now, why do I know there are going to be people that are going to apply for that? Because they want to hand select people who sit with them up there. So if Councilmember Eniel Zavala is going to leave soon, they're going to have to replace her seat. So they came up with two options. One of them was completely phony. Completely, totally a joke. Okay? It was the second option, which is to have a special election, which would be in November 5th of, I think it's 2019, I believe. I think they can hold a special off year election, because sometimes elections just pop up at random times when people, like Cathedral City lost a member, so they may do you see every once in a while, like all of a sudden somebody won an election, you hear say, but it's not election time. Well, they hold special elections. That's what they are. So they're not going to wait around and see just anybody come in and run for those seats. I knew before the meeting, because I'd read this online, I knew they were going to choose the choice of having an appointment process. They were going to take applications and they were going to appoint them. So the discussion about a special election was all for show. And I was telling Mr. David Damaris next to me, they're going to pick the appointment one before they even got going with that topic. That's why I'm saying I'm getting around ahead of them now, and I'm telling you what their moves are. Basically, if you are in a room with a parent who's telling their 3-year-old, what do you think Santa Claus is going to bring you? You know that person is lying to that kid. You know they are. He's like, they got to play that game. These people are saying, what do you think Santa Claus is going to bring you? They're telling you complete and total fables when they say it's a choice. So they're going to pick who they're going to have. And the thing that made me have an outburst of laughter was when the mayor said, maybe we won't have anybody apply. I don't know. I mean, that's totally ridiculous. Totally. These are the moves that you saw ahead of time. Quietly leaving the position, And what you see is these people saying, oh yeah, I'm going to focus on, doing some friend stuff. I've got a sick friend across the East Coast. I'm just real concerned. So what I see them doing is ahead of time getting the call saying Councilmember Eniela Zavala is going to go to law school. And this is a long time ago, okay? You don't just decide this early that you're going to go to law school in the fall in September, okay? That's when she's probably going to start law school, September. So here we are, May, June, July, August, September, 4 months, gives her 4 months to prepare. She didn't decide and go through all the application process and all the deciding at home, mulling over what her future was going to be. She didn't do all that, like 2 days ago, like 4 days ago. She did it months in advance. So the call gets sent out that we're going to have a vacancy on our city council. And the current members say, we want to consider you. We want you to be in that seat. So here's what you need to start preparing to do. You need to start getting out of what you're in and laying low until it becomes that time. That way, what it looks like is they just go, oh, what? Why don't I run? It's all phony. It's all a big show. So I'm going to predict that this Donna, and that Michael Bork are going to be 2 applicants. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to predict that they're going to be 2 applicants. And when we see that they like to have, out of the 5, they like to have man, woman, man, woman, man, I'm going to predict that it's going to be her. Now, I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm analyzing their chess moves. I'm telling you right now that they are pre-planning, pre-deciding who they're going to pick, and they're working out right now who it's going to be. So you have no chance if you don't like them. If you want to get in there and make a difference, don't bother. They're going to hand select somebody who is going to be a yes person, who is going to do what they want them to do. And believe me, Councilmember Russell Betts is lockstep with the mayor. All the stuff they do is for show. When they play good cop, bad cop, all for show. You want to know why? Many reasons. One of them is the following reason. Okay, when I was running for mayor, I was scouring the city, always canvassing the city, going all over trying to find people to talk to. And one day, close to the election, I went into the Vaughn's parking lot, and I saw the flyers for them. I saw flyers. And I thought, that's weird. Because at the last minute was when they were doing their push. I did my push all the way through all the 3 months, as hard as I could. Their push was at the end. They put out their billboards, but they really got out and then did some man on the streets at the very end. So what I found was that when you canvass the city, same thing I saw Russell Betts doing when he was running, I guess 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, when he got reelected. He had his billboard on his trailer going around town. And what he'd do is he'd go through the Vaughn's parking lot, and then he'd head up Palm, and he'd go into the Stater Brothers parking lot and go through that. And then he'd go up further and then turn around and he'd do the same thing. Same thing I did with my billboard. So what he did, so I saw those flyers and I said, I'm heading up to Stater Brothers. Because if the flyers were just put out, because they were just put out, you could see almost every car was done. Flyers were just put out. So I said, I'm going to try to catch them in the same routine up to Stater Brothers and see who's doing it. So I shot up to Stater Brothers. I pull into the parking lot. there's good old Councilmember Russell Betts standing there talking to the security guard. And he walked up, I walked up to him, and he looked like he saw a ghost. He said, and he quickly on his feet said, "Oh, this security guard's kicking us out of here." And he started to sweat, you know. And he was parked right in the front of the store, and he was, I believe, he was putting out the Madison, Gardner, and Pye flyers. Okay, trying to get his buddy reelected. Now, they are one vote up there. They are unified. There's no diversity of thought on that city council. They are all for the same agenda, which is all the same stuff that Aniela Zavala was talking about, which is usurping your city and putting it into here. They're all part of it. I'm telling you right now. They're all giving it up and giving it away, and I'm seeing it. By this point, all the fog pretty much is cleared. I can see their whole system running, and I'm telling you what their system is right now. Okay, you need to wake up and realize that they're all working together, and they're going to take that open position and they're going to put somebody on their team in there. It's a game to them. It's all a game. What they do is they see it as like a baseball game, okay, where you have different positions that play different ways. You know, shortstop has to play a little different than the first base does. Outfield has to play a little different than infield. Left field and right field, they have to play differently, how they play. And they have to cover different areas. Everyone knows the system. They know how this game is played, and they keep it from you. They don't tell you. I'm figuring out their system. I'm pretty well even with them, figuring out their system. I don't know their details because they have too many private meetings where they talk about stuff. But it's basically, I've figured out their game, how they play their game. I know who moves where. I know who shifts around, who plays what other position, who pitches, who's the catcher, who's up to bat, and who's their runner, who their coach is. I can see their game. They learned the game. And what happens is early on people get into this and they start to assist, or they get on a little commission and they go to meetings and they go to events and they start to talk to these people and they say, "What do you think about that?" And when these people say, "I'll play that game," you know, eat the small parts, they'll play that position. Okay, I'll play outfield for you. They only know the outfield part. But as time goes on, the more they learn about how the game is played, if they're open to hiding the game and understanding the game, and they can really figure the game out and be a good player, they get elevated in that system because they're showing that they can keep it secret, they can play it, they're good at it, and they won't reveal it to anybody, and they'll take the rewards for playing the game. Okay? It's all a game to them. They've learned their parts, and then they learned the game, and now they're playing it. And they're playing it right in front of your face. And they're pretending it's not a game and it's not being played. It's that simple. It's that simple. They know the game, they're playing it, they're not telling you they're playing a game, and they're pretending there's no game. That's how serious this is. Serious. Serious business. So you're seeing people move, and there's probably a bunch more. Okay, so when the mayor said, "We don't think any, maybe nobody will even apply," I just couldn't hold back the laughter because that's what it was. It was hilarious. They know exactly what they're doing. They probably know by now who they're going to put in there. They probably already know. So it's coming up soon. The dates are going to be June 24th, July to July 2nd. There's going to be August. No, that's not the one. So it's coming up pretty soon. I think they're going to be posting the application process pretty soon. I think that the city clerk said they're going to be putting it on the website very soon. And I would imagine you're going to see this one apply, and you're going to see that Michael Bork apply. You're going to see that one come up too. He's going to apply so that you have false choices. Same thing we had with the election. You had false choices. Where has what's his name? I don't even know his name anymore. The guy that ran for city council that the Desert Sun endorsed. The Desert Sun endorsed Gary Gardner and what was his name? Fitzgerald? Where'd he go? When I went to Vista Montana for their invitation to come and share my platform, that one morning, that guy reeked of alcohol. It was like 9 in the morning. His breath was so smelling of vodka. It would knock me over almost. I mean, where did he go? Where did Adam Sanchez go? You know, who's fighting for the city? Who's saying anything at this point? Nobody even talks politics like those. They don't even talk any politics. It's like, but what they'll do is these are false choices, just like those were false choices. I don't know about Adam Sanchez. I don't know him enough. He's kind of a mystery, an enigma to me. But the Fitzgerald, I could easily see that was just phony. I mean, for one thing, Fitzgerald puts up a billboard for himself to get elected, probably paid for by these guys, the Madison, all these people, probably paid for by them. And then a week later, the same sign, the same 4x4 post plywood sign, has got like a city event on it, right? So who's doing that agreement where they say to Fitzgerald, "Oh, thanks for putting up a sign. Can we rent it from you?" I mean, I'm sure they'd come up with some lie and plausible, thing, but there's too many connections and there's too much and obvious. Because what they're not going to be able to do is they're not going to be able to change their behavior. They'll lie and say that everything I'm saying is not true, but they won't change their behavior. They can't, because they can never reveal this game. They can't do it. They can't do it. They will give up everything if they reveal the game. So I'm going to tell you their game all the way through, and they're going to play it, and they're going to deny it. Okay, that's where we're at. So let's see who's going to apply. Let's see what they're going to, who they're going to pick. We're going to watch them over the next meetings. Probably going to be a couple meetings because they're going to discuss it. They're going to discuss who's going to apply. So that was great to see. That was the third part of the gold bar right there. Was that I could see their move, and I could tell you what they were going to say when they did it. So we can
Environment Commission for Gary, and
we can skip ahead to that.
Things. It's a bit technical, but I'll try to summarize it in the best way.
We'll skip ahead to that debate about the options to fill city council vacancy created by resignation of council member Eniela Zavala. And you notice none of those people go to these meetings because it's all a show. They have to look like they, because eventually when they apply, they're going to be like, "Oh, I just heard about that. I just heard. Oh, there's an application. What's it for? It's for filling vacancy seat. Oh, I don't know. Oh, come on, you should run. Oh, I don't know, because you know what's going to happen, right? Is whoever gets appointed to that seat, they're going to run for re-election in 2020. Same thing they did with Parks, Mayor Parks. Same thing they did with her with Jan Pye. Okay? So they don't want anybody to have to come from the bottom up. Okay, this is being placed on third base. This is born on third base right there. So instead of having a real legitimate person run their seat out, okay, and a new person from anywhere coming up, they hand-pick people. They hand-pick the Gary Gardner to fill McKee's seat. They hand-pick Jan Pye to run in that seat by getting Parks out ahead of time. Parks leaves before her term is up so that Jan Pye doesn't have to run from nothing. And if they didn't have enough people, they just ask Parks to go out so they can put Jan Pye in so that she's just being reelected. Okay, it's much easier to get reelected than it is to get elected for the first time out. And even though she's already served, Jan Pye's already served, it's much easier for her to get reelected if she's already in that seat than if she ran before, she served, but now she's just like breaking into it again. So she could play the game of like, I was asked and the mayor said I should come fill it. I was happy not to. It's all a show, people. So let's see if we can find the discussion of the options to fill council vacancy. So let's zip ahead as much as we can. I'll probably freeze the computer here. So let's talk about some other things while we're waiting for that to...
At 10 a.m. will be a business expo.
Oh, he's talking about what he did for the last 2 weeks.
A87 cost allocation plan and a user fee study. Thank you. I'll take questions from the council.
Okay, so he's talking about one of the first items.
January of 27, 330,000.
By the way, they said by 2021 or so, you're going to be getting the bike lanes coming up to 8th Street, on up to Mission Lakes Boulevard, I think, even too. It's already been funded. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of your gas tax money are going to put in bicycle lanes going up home.
Councilmember Annie Elizabeth. She made an announcement last
There it
meeting
is.
that she's going off to get more educated, and will be leaving us. So yeah, I don't think she's going to allow that. After
So they're joking, saying leading into this agenda item.
We wish you the best, and her last meeting will be July 7th. 2nd.
July 2nd is our last meeting.
So with that, the city council has to consider a few options, and our city clerk is going to give those to us at this time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members.
This is all fake. They knew ahead of time what the options were going to be. He's saying, maybe Santa Claus will bring you a new bicycle. Maybe Santa Claus will bring you a new train.
To the council, that is correct. So the council has two options under state law to fill the vacancy created upon councilmember Zabala's resignation from the council. The first option is to appoint a qualified individual to fill the unexpired term, which is through December 2020. In the staff report, staff proposes a timeline. So May 21st is where the council will deliberate and determine what the process will be.
May 21st, that was yesterday. They will deliberate and, what do you say?
Expired term, which is through December 2020. In the staff report, staff proposes a timeline. So May 21st is where the council will deliberate and determine what the process will
So staff proposed that on May 21st, the council will deliberate,
be.
which is last night. So they're going to deliberate what they've already decided.
May 22nd, the council would direct me to issue a press release and post all the materials on the website and the city's social media platforms. And then the application period would be through May 23rd through
So
June 24th at a minimum.
Today you should see the application, all the paperwork being posted online. If that's what they decided, and that was where they were all leaning. You could see it. I was like, as soon as the next one would talk, I'd say, he's going to say the special election's bad and the appointment's good. And they did, one after another.
Applicants must be 18 years of age or older, resident of the city, registered voter of the city, not on parole or serving time for a felony conviction, and certify that he or she meets the eligibility requirements and is willing to serve in the office for the remainder of the term. The deadline for applications would then be June 24th. And
Deadline for applications would be June 24th. So so that's about a month from now. So they're going to be posting the applications very soon, and the applications are going to come in, and it's going to be all the same players, all the same pawns in the chessboard that you see all the time in the city. Plus some random people probably throw in there, probably ask them, you're not going to win, but go ahead and run anyway, or go and apply, just to make it look like it's not fixed and not rigged.
then July 2nd would be when the council would deliberate and appoint someone to fill the term.
July 2nd, they would deliberate and appoint the person to fill the seat. And he's going to go over the second option, which I knew they were never going to do anyway.
The second option is to call a special election. So the city council, within 60 days of the vacancy or before August 31st, 2019, the city council shall adopt a resolution calling a special election. The special election shall be held on the next regularly established election date, not less than 114 days from the call of the special election. So that's all pursuant to the California Elections Code.
See, that something like that would leave them way too vulnerable. That would give the opportunity for some outsider to come along and run, and draw too many eyeballs off of them and onto somebody new. That they can't have that. They have to fix it and rig it as much as they possibly can. So that's why I knew they were going to pick this, because this gives them much more control over who gets in that seat. This is not your city. This is their city. They own it. They own you, and they won't let you in if you don't agree with them 100%. If you agree with them 100%, you're probably just brainwashed. You probably don't even know what's going on, or you're playing with them. You're playing their game, or you're like that guy who says, "Who cares?"
Accordingly, what that means is the next available dates to call a special election would be November 5th, 2019. If the special election were to be held on November 5th, council would need to adopt a resolution calling the election before July.
November 19th or November 5th, 2019. They would never let it go that long. That's way too much time to lose control of this process. Never. I could see that it's about preserving their team. Their team's got to hold together.
14th. That date falls within the 60 days, and then not less than 114 days from the call of the election. And then the second date available is April 14th, 2020. City Council would need to adopt a resolution calling the election before.
April 14th, 2020. Go that long with that seat open and let that much time pass by for people to say, "Oh, I want to run," This is hilarious. I mean, these people have way too much track record of being control freaks about this stuff, and it's sad. It's sad that so many people don't know this game, and it's sad that these people will do, the council will do this to you guys. They'll play their little ball game in the dark. Well, I'm sitting on the scoreboard at night and I'm watching them play the game, and I'm learning their game. They may reserve the field in off hours, play their little game, but I know their game now. So it all comes back to preserving their power for the team that they're on, and making the money roll in. Money and power. They love it. Oh, they love it. So you see he's proposing that second choice, and maybe we'll skip ahead to.
Available for any questions.
Open up to public comments this time. Anyone would like to speak on this item?
Nobody
Come
spoke.
forth and speak on it.
30 days to take in applications that have been with the city manager needs.
So they play
Close public comments. Go to council.
So they play a little game of like, well, maybe 30 days isn't enough time. They've already decided. They already knew what was going to happen. So they go up for show and they say, oh, yeah, I could see a problem coming up here, or,
For comments, Mr. Bettins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quick thoughts on here. The schedule seemed a little bit abbreviated to me. 30 days to take in applications that have been with the
So he went right into the 30 days. He didn't go into, I think a special election would be good. He leaned right into what they want to do.
manager needs. Well, 30 days is long enough. So I'm just raising the possibilities.
This is just filler. It's just filler talk. They got to act like there's something to discuss. Because if it was up to them, he'd propose the two ideas by state law, which he has to, the city clerk, and they go, appointment process. I vote. Done. Let's move on. But they can't look like they've already made their mind up. They have to kind of like pretend like, well, I said maybe the 30 days was too short. City manager says it's good. So there, I've done my little comment that looks like I mean something, or it looks like this is like a fair process.
30 days long enough to accept applications from people that might be interested in being appointed. I'm talking about the appointed process, so I don't know the answer to that one, but that's just what struck me initially was 30 days was a short period of time. And then from June 24th to July 2nd for the council to interview candidates, deliberate, and then make a decision. So if everybody's comfortable with the schedule, I'll go along. I was just raising, that's what struck me. And then I think, Mr. Mayor, you're going to have to come up with some process to where if it is going to go by appointment.
He started that last thing by saying, Mr. Mayor, you're going to have to come up with a process. And then he caught himself and realized that he kind of said that that's what they're going to go with, because if we go through the appointment process, their intentions are set in the words they use and how they word them in the beginning. And he goes right into saying, you're going to have to set up a process, because he knows that was, of course, if you do the process. That's why this whole thing was funny to me.
Decision.
Let's hear him say that again.
I don't know the answer to that one, but that's just what struck me initially was 30 days was a short period of time. And then from June 24th to July 2nd, for the council to interview candidates, deliberate, and then make a decision. So if everybody's comfortable with the schedule, I'll go along. I was just raising, that's what struck me. And then I think, Mr. Mayor, you're going to have to come up with some process to where, if it is going to go by appointment, to where, how this is going to work.
See, it's his town. He's telling him, yes, boss. Boss, you're going to have to come up with a process. This is his town. Mayor Mattis's town. This is his town. He's a sheriff in town. And he don't like people crossing him.
Logistically, anyhow, that's why you got that seat, right? Okay. And then on the election.
No, not logistically. That's why he got that seat. He has just as much power as the other city council members. The only thing different is that he runs the meetings. No, but he just told you right there, you run this town. He said that's why you got that seat. You come up with the process. That's why you got that seat. That's your job. They all know this game.
You know, if there was more time between now and the election, but if effectively somebody would go through all that whole election process and then have 1 year, and which isn't a whole.
See, they broadcast where they're going. The first one was the one he wanted, and then the last one he's like, well, you know, there's the downsides of all the special election. So he's pretty much said what's, and then
So normally I would say go with the election, but
no.
with it being only a year and knowing all the trouble and everything goes through a campaign and then just have to do it all over again, if somebody was of a mind to run, I'd be more.
I didn't even listen to that last night because I was laughing. He said, if you go through a special election, they're only going to sit there for a year, you know, with all the election hassle and all this. And then, you know, they're going to, if they have the mind to run again, you know, he said they're going to, why would they get appointed to the seat? Like, why would they apply, get appointed to the seat and go to 2020 and just say, I'm done? You know, they're placing another one in that can carry the water for a long period of time.
Inclined to go with an appointment, so those are my thoughts.
What's the
I knew
cost?
this before they started this.
Do we know the cost? Did we say?
Oh, the cost. Oh, if we did a special election, it's going to cost money. You know, $12,000 to $21,000.
Did you say it already? Did I skim over that?
12 to 22,000.
22,000. Yeah. If the city was going to hold a special election, it's going to cost the city 12 to 21,000. And the city clerk said, we'd have to really allocate in the budget for that. You know, they all know where they're going.
Mr. Gardner, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Watch. As he bumbled and started, I'm like, he's going to pick the appointment. Watch.
I would agree with my esteemed colleague that normally you would want to hold an election on this, but with such a short time left and knowing how expensive a council race is to spend for that and then have to run.
That guy's got some big nuts, that's for sure. To come in and pretend like this, come in the city and pretend like he cares. I mean, this is circus. This is comical.
In the end, if you chose to do that in the fall, it's just, it's very tough on a candidate to do that.
Oh, I'm looking out for the candidates. I want to decide it's better for you that you don't run. It's tough on the candidates to run like that and only have to serve for a year. It's tough on them. It's tough. So you can't do it. That's why. It's tough on you, so I'm going to decide you can't run.
And it leaves us with a vacancy until, depends on how long Riverside County takes to vote count, like they did last year. We could very well be into January before that person filled the seat. Campaign again, come spring. So I think it's way too short of a time.
Good point, Gary.
And with the short time left on Ms. Zavala's term, I think it's wise to move towards an appointment process.
He's hiding something there. You can see it in his body language. He knows so much about this issue that they've already discussed in back rooms that he's like, watch this again. Watch this body language.
That person filled the seat, and that would have to be campaigning again come spring. So I think it's way too short of a time with the short time left on Ms. Zavala's term. I think it's wise to move towards an appointment process.
This guy's, man. He knows the deal. And it's hard for him to act. He's not an actor, but he has to act when he sits up there. It's all acting.
I also would agree that I'm a little bit of worry about the 30-day review process for that.
Oh, you got to throw in some fake concern about something. If it was them, they'd have a one-day review process. Just turn in your application, we'll approve it for the one that they want. This is a joke.
I'm hoping that as applications come in, you can forward them to us to review and look.
No, as applications come in, I'm hoping that maybe, you know, do you have a way you could send me the application so I could take a look at it? I mean, how would you Pony Express? Do you tie it to a pigeon and send it? I mean, I would hope that you could. Can you is it forward the right word? Is that what we do? Email? What's that? You can email?
Go over and I also would agree that I'm a little bit of worry about the 30-day review process for that, but I'm hoping that as applications come in, you can forward them to us.
Would you agree? Can you work something out like that? You forward it to us?
Process. I also would agree that I'm a little bit of worry about the 30-day review process for that, but I'm hoping that as applications come in, you can forward them to us to review and look over and go from there. But I would, having never gone through this process with that, I'm curious to how we would discuss and debate that.
Oh, that's a good question.
A little fake concern, you know, fake this. Well, you know, maybe how would we debate it? You're on the city council. You debate things. How would we debate those people? It's a good question, Gary. Good point. Good question, Gary. We'll have to figure out a way. It's going to be tough, but I think we can get through it.
The appointments, the way I saw it, and talking with the city clerk, was we'd run the press release and let it go for 30 days. I think the council would have the option if within 30 days you didn't have any candidates to extend that, correct? I'm sure there'll be a few, but you never know.
Yes, there's where he goes to me. Nice acting performance, Mayor Mattis. I gotta hand it to you. My hat's off to you. That was really good. You're gonna see him talk to me here in a minute. Just want to make sure. Here we go. Here he's gonna refer to me. Okay, he's looking right at me right there. Right at me, boy. He was not happy with me. Let's go back and listen to what he said, because it's.
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh.
The appointments, the way I saw it, and talking with the city clerk, was we'd run the press release and let it go for 30 days. I think the council would have the option if within 30 days you didn't have any candidates to extend that.
If we didn't have any, see, he's got to lay out by law what they're legally obligated to do, but he threw in some absurd possible scenario as like a reason why they'd have to extend it. You know, like maybe one of their hand-picked people, you know, falls sick right at the application process and they can't really fill it out and they can't come in and be interviewed. Well, then maybe we'll have to extend it. You know, so if we didn't have any applications come in 30 days, really? If they didn't have any applications come in 30 days for an open city council seat, does he think you're stupid? We're stupid? Does everybody thinks we're stupid? I mean, you'll hear me laughing at that. Listen to what he says right after that, and then I break out in even more laughter.
Correct. I'm sure there'll be a few, but
I'm sure there'll be a few. So here, let's let it play, and he talks to me for a second. So it's very quick.
You never know. With that said, excuse me, is there a problem? Okay, that's just making sure. I wanted to give you the mic if you need to speak on something. Like reopen public comments. No, sure we do. Public comments reopen. You want to speak? Okay, thanks. So with that said,
Oh man, his disdain for me, that was apparent. He's like, yeah, yeah. I'd really like to. So
we would take the applications.
we're gonna see one by one. They're gonna say, let's do the appointment process.
Let's see.
They're all unified. That's what he said. He wanted a unity on the council when he ran back in 2018 against me. Wants a unity on the council, and he's got it.
For everybody, and then we'd have to call a special meeting
If you handpick everybody in the way they think, there's your unity.
to review the applications, and I would probably, I've seen it done before. I think 2 years before I was elected, or the year before I was elected, they appointed and they took applications and interviewed the candidates, so that everybody had an opportunity to do it. It was a formal meeting, it was interviewed in closed session, and then the council debated in public session the person and that they wanted it. And that's the process we're looking at, Mr. City Clerk. Your mic not working. We're gonna build a new city hall, so we have better audio. Get that out with the press release that would come out.
Sorry, I'm waiting till the next council member speaks.
Ms. Mike?
It is up to the mayor, but
He just said it's up to the mayor.
1999,
It's your first appointment?
yes,
You've gone through this a couple times.
there were 10 of us that
See, 1999 she was appointed. Then she ran and she kept winning. But, oh my God. This is like, hey kids, Santa comes down that chimney right there. He comes down, he eats the carrots. He eats the cookies. He shares the carrots with his reindeer.
sat in front of the council, and we were interviewed by the council. We weren't in closed session. And after that,
Oh, we're going to make this open and transparent for you. I hope for sure. Yeah. You'll see our hand-picked puppet pawns come in, and we'll parade them in front of you, and we'll make it look like we're really, oh, it's a tough call. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, we had a lot of good applicants came in. It's really tough. I don't know. This one's going to break my heart, because I'm going to really have to tell some people no that really want it. Oh man, wait till the Oscar moments happen with this.
the council deliberated, and then they picked a council member. Just as an aside, the person, Elizabeth Donnelly, thought that the person that to be elected should have been the person with the most votes, if it was within 60 days. And that's how I came back on the council later.
It sounds like there's a couple processes here we can look at. And, go from there. I'm open to whatever comments. Mr. Betts, you have more comments? Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna vote on this clearly. I'm not allowed to, but I was told I could make a comment if I wanted to. I would just say that I really like Jan's comment about having the potential next council member kind of have them all, sit or stand, maybe kind of like a panel or something. I think it's kind of like what you were mentioning, and having the council ask them questions. I think that sounds like a great idea. It kind of reminds me of when the chamber hosted the debate at the high school. I thought that was really, really neat, and just saying it. That was
That reminds me. What she said was, she said she likes the idea that Jan Pye brought up, that it's they all sit in front of the council and kind of like a panel, like what I did when I was running for mayor. It was you sit there and you sit next to your opponent and you answer questions. She liked that idea, that format. Just have all the applicants sitting at a table, reading the Freudian slip there, or the slip there, reading their answers, because some of them will be given answers to give back to the questions. It reminds me a lot of the Desert Sun when I went and I met with the editorial board for the Desert Sun with Mayor Scott Mattis sitting right next to me in that room at the big Desert Sun building across from the Airplane Museum in Palm Springs. That board had made their mind up long before I sat down in that room. Okay. The head editor, I can't remember his name, but he's big over there at the Desert Sun. The lead editor. He said to me. He said, "Now you're running for mayor." He said, "Why would you want to knock this guy out of that? Why would you want to?" I forget what his exact words were, but what he was basically saying was, if I had beaten Mayor Mattis, I would be collapsing something big. So what he was saying with his words were, you're dangerous if you get in. We're siding with this guy, not you. We're siding with him because we see him as less dangerous. Why would you, it's something like, why would you want to take all that, rip all that away, rip all that down? That's it. And the body language in him was like, I have to be here listening to you, so I'm going to pretend I'm really interested. But we've made our mind up. It's going to be him, but you can have your time. I mean, we're going to give you your allotted amount of time to speak. And they did. They timed it. So what she's saying reminds me a lot of that, where they're going to sit there, if they do that panel with the applicants for that open seat sitting in front of them, their mind's going to be made up who they're going to pick. So they're going to give these other people fake time to speak and just act like they're listening, going, Anyway, you're going to be the one. But, I got to give you the time. So it's all a big show. They know well ahead of time what their moves are going to be. They plan this. This is not open and free. This is not just like a wandering system that's going to, like, self-driven. This is all directed and scripted. So
yeah, I got to tell you, after thinking about how this process, the easy way was just to have the elections. So they get $12,000 or $22,000 and have the election. We don't have to go through all this. So I think we have to play this one a little bit by ears, including on the time frame. You're probably correct. 30 days.
good cop, bad cop. Saying the easy way is the election, but he's already made his mind up. They're going to appoint.
Some clear.
Because the mayor's the boss, remember? He's got the chair. That's why he has that chair. And what the mayor wants, everybody does.
Applications, if we're not getting enough applications or something, nobody applies or something.
Nobody applies. He says it again. Or if nobody applies. If nobody applies. We had fake people applying to run in a whole campaign. What do you think? Apply? When you fill out an application? Nobody's going to do that, but you had a bunch of fake people getting signatures and paying the filing fee and opening a bank account to pay for their campaign out of, and FEC, Federal Elections Commission rules, but like nobody's going to come apply for an open city council seat. I mean, this is comedy.
Go into this with this schedule, but then keep an open mind that maybe we'll extend it if we have to. I think 30 days is a short period of time.
So with the comments that are said here today, it sounds like a pretty clear process that the council wants to take. The council sounds like it wants to take 30 days from the posting. We'll accept applications.
And he says it. It's pretty clear. The council's saying they're going to take the 30 days in the application process.
And then we'll call a special meeting to interview the candidates in public and then appoint from that. The appointment would take place, I'm assuming, on the July 2nd meeting. So after the interview.
There's way too much of a loss of control if they did an election. Way too much opportunity to lose total control of this seat. Way too much opportunity to lose control of the seat. Way too much opportunity to lose control of the seat on the council if they did an election. They want control over the council. So they will appoint someone that they tell to apply. And you've already seen people moving ahead of time to free themselves up to be appointed into this seat. I know what they're doing, and I'm trying to educate you on what they're doing.
Yes, that gives us enough to go on. So, does it sound fair? So I would need a motion.
We do need a motion.
I would move that we take applications and interview potential council candidates for the report issued by the city clerk.
Yeah, we do a special meeting for that. Sounds good to me. There is a motion, a second. Any more discussion? Please vote.
Here you go. They voted to do an appointment.
Motion passes with an
Not hard to figure that one out.
mentioned by Councilmember Zavala.
Item number 8 is landscaping and lighting.
Okay, so the rest is all pretty much procedural stuff. It's
Initiate.
landscape lighting issues, drainage, things like that, funding budgets and trash and what was earlier. Well, last thing I'll give you for the day, because I know that this went on long, is I'll go back to those poor people being paraded in front of the council about the water district situation, and a couple of key points I'll try to get to.
We're visiting, we're sending out,
We're-
doing everything.
When a gentleman stood up and spoke, here's one of them right here. I feel so bad for this lady.
Springs Water District.
I feel
as
bad for
local
this girl.
control over our water.
They spoke for their 3 minutes. They
Only raise
basically
rates
said,
because
this is,
it's
I love this city. A lot of canned comments.
we
I
spent the
feel
past
bad.
few months-
That we're not gonna have a voice.
Simone, you're going to go first.
Okay. So this is just public comment section where they're speaking about how the Desert Water Agency has taken over deciding what we do with our water, and they're saying that they're making some good points, which is that water rates are going to raise. They were already moving on that back in 2017, 2016. They were already moving on those 3 increases. So all this Desert Water Agency takeover was all planned a long time ago. And I believe the Mission Springs Water District knew about it. They knew what the deal was, but they have to pretend like it's not like good, because it's all phony. And these people, I believe, are being used. These are useful idiots. That's a term for people who idiot. I'm not calling them idiots. Idiots has many definitions, and it's basically saying somebody who's being used for not knowing something. They don't know the full story, so they're being used. And one lady that got up and spoke, you can tell she's clearly just been sucked into this, and she thinks she's doing a good thing. So let's see what they have to say.
Good evening, City Council and staff. My name is Simone Sandoval, and I'm here as a representative of the Agua Warriors, which is a grassroots campaign to help maintain local control over our water.
Synthetic roots campaign, not grassroots.
I am a resident of Palm Springs, and I grew up in Palm Desert, but for the past 2.5 years, I've been working in Desert Hot Springs, and I've fallen in love with this community, and I'm really passionate about this cause. I'm here to request that the City of Desert Hot Springs publicly and formally endorse MSWD to continue as the manager of our water.
Which they don't do, by the way. The City Council knows the takeover, the consolidation. It's all what I'm talking about right here. They know about the consolidation. The water control has to be slipped into and eventually get in the hands of this. The water control has to get in there. The farmlands, it's all going to be in the control of this. So they have to drip by drip, slowly move it. They have to move it like this, very slowly, over and over and over, and aim it and get it in there. And every month they make a little progress of getting it in and getting it in place. Can't do it too fast because you'd see it. So they have to move it very slowly into place. You don't want to break it, right? So council never says we're for Mission Springs Water District getting back their control. Now the mayor said, I like the, at the end he says I like the idea of equal representation. He didn't say he's for. She just asked if they would endorse that, and he said none of them said it. So your city council is on board with the Desert Water Agency takeover of control of the water in Desert Hot Springs, because that was always the plan.
And so that, as they have done for the past 65 years.
What she was saying was, say that I want the city council to please say that Mission Springs Water District should be in control of the groundwater, as they have been in control for the last 65 years. They don't do that.
We've spent the past few months trying to understand a very complicated lawsuit, but what we've boiled it down to is that MSWD has been fighting for years to maintain.
This is basically dressing up the corpse so that we can have a funeral. Okay, the water control is gone by Desert Hot Springs. It's gone. So they're basically just putting lipstick, putting nice looking glasses with the little diamond studs in the corners on Grandma. She's dead, and they're dressing her up. This all this is.
In local control over our water. DWA has found positions to take that control away from us, and they did so without our knowledge and a lack of transparency. Our very existence as Agua Warriors is to educate and inform and to stop it from happening. We are deeply concerned that losing control of our water will not only raise...
Consolidation of control. Consolidation of control is what's happening. Everything's consolidation of power, consolidation of control. It's all being smoothly moved into the smaller and smaller number of hands. Control over your water in Desert Hot Springs is now gone from the residents of Desert Hot Springs, and the city council will not step in to intervene. Why? Because they're for the loss of control. They don't want control of the water. They definitely don't want you to control the water.
Rates, because there's a water board right now that doesn't have any investment or motivation in more.
Just say your name when you.
So let's zip ahead to the next person, and then a couple more, and then I'll end this broadcast.
And I've lived in Desert Hot Springs for about 9 years. I'm here to ask that the city, DHS, endorse MSWD to remain as the...
She has to read her script. I get it. Maybe she's not good at public speaking, but they gave her the same script that they gave the first girl. This is what we're going to say. Because it fills time, it gives people a feeling like somebody's fighting for the water for them. Majority of that room knew the water control was going away. They're just like, no public comments other than these people with signs, and that's it.
in control of our water.
I'm not going to speak. What good is it going to do for me to go up there and say this is all a rigged game? They're going to go, okay, crazy guy. I want my own platform to do that. Okay, that's why I use this, because it's predictable what they're going to say. But all you have to do is open your eyes and you see that's happening.
Okay, I'm not really good at this.
Thank you.
I am passionate about this because I've been here for a while and I've seen how now we're growing and we're building.
Cliche, we're growing. Well, the city's always been growing since it was established.
And now Palm Springs wants to come in and just, start managing.
Nothing against her. I'm sure she's a very sweet lady and very nice. I'm sure I'd adore her. It's just a lack of knowledge about the whole big picture is going on here. Severe lack of knowledge on her part, I think. And she, it's nice thing she can go meet some people who have, some connections, and, feels good. She feels like she's part of activism.
And getting into stuff that nobody even asked them to come and manage water. Desert Hot Springs people do great. If we're growing, then I feel like only we should be the ones, because
just cliche stuff. People of Desert Hot Springs do great. We're growing. That's not the reason. Listen, this consolidated power couldn't give a crap about her emotional plea here. This is big business. This is serious business right here. Getting that water control, you know. We may have to mow a few people down on the way, but we're gonna get it.
The two people in their board meetings, in their Desert Water Agency meetings, and I feel like if they can't have us in their board meetings, why should we have them managing our water? So, I just, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, so she spoke.
I have a lot of respect.
Now, this guy knows all the city council, and he said same kind of stuff. You know, it's bad, blah blah blah. This is our future, our water, and
I live in Desert Hot Spring. I gave my card to the president of the board over at DWA, and he's actually called me and tried to get me to individually meet with him, which I decided not to do.
oh, okay. So he's an activist to get control back into the hands of Desert Hot Springs residents. And he actually got a call back from the head of the Desert Water Agency. And the head of the Desert Water Agency said, yeah, I'd like to meet with you. And he said, nah. That's what he said.
MSWD, and I've asked some questions, and I gave my card to the president of the board over at DWA, and he's actually called me and tried to get me to individually meet with him, which I decided not to do. But anyways, they're
Good going.
super arrogant.
Oh, they're arrogant.
They're super.
Okay. So what does that have to do with them getting the water rights? So he's basically leaving himself, a reason why they're going to fail,
Arrogant. You can't even believe it. They don't think anything.
Yeah, they're arrogant the same way that people in our city are. They know they're in power. They're going to crush you. And they've got a lot of confidence. We saw our police chief get a little arrogant and get into some texting business because he's above the law. He's above the moral law. It's arrogance.
Of what they're doing or how it affects Desert Hot Springs. We're kind of this oasis out in the middle of nowhere that they don't really care about. And what
It's not true. They do care about it. They care about controlling it. They don't care about the fact that the thing that he said about them not caring about it. They do care about it. He's just I don't know if he's acting like that or if he really means it. He's pretending like this, just a bunch of kooky rednecks and podunk people up there in Desert Hot Springs. Where's Desert Hot Springs? I don't know. Well, you control their water. Well, I didn't know there was a city up there. He's like, oh, well, they don't care about us. And
they're super arrogant. They are super arrogant. You can't even believe it. They don't think anything of what they're doing or how it affects Desert Hot Springs.
they don't think anything of what they're doing or how it affects Desert Hot Springs. They do. They know what they're doing. They know they're consolidating the control of the water into smaller and smaller hands. This is that oldest argument where it's like government is just dumb. They make stupid mistakes because they just don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Their centralized plans are on the internet for you to read. The consolidation plans are there for you to read. They're following that script. And for people to say they don't know what they're doing, why would they decide that? That doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. When you read their plans, you see that it's just another step in their plan, which means pull things out of your hands and put them into a small group's hands that then feeds them money and power.
We're kind of this oasis out in the middle of nowhere that they don't really care about. And what they did is they sent a lobbyist into Sacramento, and they took advantage of a ground management act and just kind of stole our rights to controlling our own water. And 2 years ago, I moved to Desert Hot Springs, and I lived in Palm Springs, and their water there is
Okay.
horrible.
Yeah, blah blah blah. This is a good place. The water's better here. We should have the control. It's
There's a chlorine smell that you can't believe. Like, not only are they arrogant about their own method, show some kind of opposition, and active opposition. I mean, and get bills passed without us even knowing about it. So
They did know about it. The city council knew about it. Mission Springs Water District knew about it. You think the Desert Water Agency goes to Sacramento and does this stuff and nobody tells Mission Springs Water District? This is a joke.
let them get away with that.
So this
Their way with us, and I hate to see that happen.
Sid, Frank, you're next.
Yeah, I'm Frank Delmore, and actually,
He hit his mic button. That's why he went quiet.
Turn off your mic there, Frank. Press the button on the front there.
So he said.
Okay.
He said the same kind of cliche stuff until the very end. At the very end of what he was saying, he really made a good point. And he revealed the trick pretty much right at the very end. So we're going to skip ahead.
To the demo in July. Another one is around the corner, and then another one.
So he's talking about the rate hikes for water in the city. How it was already planned. It was going to go up back in years ago. They announced they were going to have the rate hikes, all in preparation for this handing over of control. Because if they hand over control to a group outside of the city, you can't fight back. Okay, that's why they planned the moves by warning you ahead of time. They said, we're going to strap you down, we're going to torture you by 2020 by raising your rates, and then by 2019 they've handed it off, and now you can't fight the rates because Mississippi Water District will say, our hands are tied. It's Desert Water Agency that's controlling it.
They have also increased their sewer rates, water, but they can charge us fees and raise our rates, and we can't do a thing to stop them. If we don't like the job our local water board is doing, we can vote them out. That will never be the case with DWA. This is taxation without representation by DWA. The city council.
Get this guy over here going. Yep. You know, people, hardline people in the city have been around a long time, and they know the deal. They know the program. They have to look like this is terrible.
Who needs to fight for us? You need to be heard. Join us in demanding that local control be restored to our residents. And something came up.
This is where he gets into it right here. Something came up. This is his last note. And boy, and the mayor cuts him off right at his 3-minute mark, baby. You are done at 3 minutes. You better shut that mic off because you're telling stuff we don't want you to be saying. Oh man, this is gold right here too.
It seemed that the information was as if the city cannot or will not take a stand about Desert Hot Springs water.
He said something came up the other day that seemed to me like the city of Desert Hot Springs means the people he's facing cannot take a stand against what's happening with the water.
And I didn't understand that.
And I didn't understand that.
I mean, here the city touts itself on being the spa city, where all these people who are sick like me.
That's 3 minutes.
Okay.
There he goes. Right there at the 3-minute mark. I watched him. He's looking down, watching the mayor. He's watching the clock. 58, 59, 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes. That's what he did. Let's watch it again.
Stand. And something came up in a meeting the other day that it seemed that the information was as if the city cannot or will not take a stand about Desert Hot Springs water. And I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Aren't they supposed to be representatives of you? The citizens of Desert Hot Springs? And he's saying something came up at the meeting that said you guys cannot take a stand. And the mayor actually, I won't play it, but the mayor actually did address that at the end. He said, legally we can't take a stand until we're asked to take a stand. Well, who's going to ask you to take a stand? The residents? No, it's some other process. See, they're never going to get involved because it's going to be too complicated, too sticky. Well, there's legal issues and we might get sued. So they're just going to kind of always keep a hands-off approach to this. Why? Because they know it has to happen. The consolidation has to happen. So if the consolidation has to happen, somehow they figure out a way to do it. They know their destination. They know where they're starting from. All they have to do is figure out a route. If you want to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, there's about 1 million different routes to get there. If you're going to get there, you're going to get there somehow. So they know their destination. They just have to find a route, which is hands off. The destination is let it happen. So I'll always kind of like go off on some ethereal rabbit trail somewhere where it's like, well, we'll talk about it, and it just falls apart. Well, maybe we'll have a meeting, but then no, the lawyer stepped in and said. So it'll always be that way about this water issue until it's a dead issue and it's quiet again, and people are just used to paying the high rates, because that's what it is. It's about bankrupting you, the resident of Desert Hot Springs, and putting control over your city into hands of people you will never ever see.
I mean, here you tout, the city touts itself on being the spa city, where all these people who are sick like me.
That's 3 minutes.
That's 3 minutes, buddy. You're done. He loves to cut people off. I mean, I've been in a lot of city council meetings in a lot of areas in Southern California, and half of them, they'll let you finish. Just wrap up and just go, and they'll give them to end their point. No, they're mad as you're done.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Oh, he's real happy he spoke.
Ivy or Richard, who wants to go next?
And then the last ones are part of the whole scam, to get people to do fake outrage over this. All right, so we got it's gonna be probably a little cold. I don't know, but I think they said by what's the 25th? May 25th is Saturday. Yeah, they say by Friday. Was it Friday? Friday's supposed to be back up to 91. I think it's going to get warm again pretty soon. So you got those dive-in movies that I posted on my website on Independent News, Desert Hot Springs. I got that up here. You got the dive-in movies here, free dive-in movies, starting May 25th. And there's a beautiful blue pool water. Hopefully it's that clean over there. You got the cruise in tonight. You got the Desert Hot Springs cruise in under the Carl's Jr. sign, held by David Damaris. And you got State of the City. That's on the 23rd. That's tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The mayor talked about that at the city council meeting. So go to that. You can reserve a seat at the Chamber of Commerce. They're, I don't know, probably make you go hunt that down, how to fill it out. Chamber of Commerce Facebook website. I don't know what they have holding that open for you to go apply to get a seat, or you just have to register, whatever it is, whatever the process is. Then UC Riverside Palm Desert campus is going to have a meeting for that homeless committee that Jan Pai was talking about, where they're gonna listen to homeless people speak, because I guess we need to hear more people speak to know what it's like to be homeless, so we can figure out how to help them. I don't have a lot of faith in helping them, but it's interesting to go along and see what happens. I'd love to help if there's an opportunity, and I'm going to be watching for an opportunity to help if I can. So she's going to that. Then there's a bunch of stuff coming up, but I won't get into next week too much. But there's the next Monday is the Memorial Day event at the Veterans Park at the corner of Mission Lakes and Palm Drive, and they're going to start putting in that was one thing that the Public Works Director, Danny Porras, he said that they're going to start pretty soon on the segment from Camino Aventura up to Two Bunch Palms, and they're going to be shrinking the lanes down. And I'll try to play that tomorrow. I won't go back into that and try to find it. But one of the things I'd like to point out is they're manipulating you. They're playing with your mind to get you to do things. They nudge you in a certain direction that they want you to go, because they want an outcome that they pre-planned. And I'll play it tomorrow. I'll isolate that clip and I'll have it for you tomorrow. And I'll play that, and then we'll talk about some other news. But what he said was, he said right now we have 14-foot wide lanes going down Palm and up Palm, right between Camino Aventura and Two Bunch Palms. And what he said was, we're shrinking those lanes. We're not losing lanes, but we're shrinking them down to be narrower. Because what he said, exactly what he said, and I'll play it again tomorrow, is that what that does is that has a psychological effect. He didn't use the word psychological, but in the gist of what he said was, it has a psychological effect on the driver that it makes the driver slow down. So he's telling you that they manipulate your mind in the city, and the city does that in many, many more ways. But it's rare to hear them admit it, that they're forcing you to operate your vehicle a different way because of what they're doing to your driving lane. So they obviously know about uh, uh, controlling people's behavior. They obviously know that that goes on because they're using it in the roads. A road diet is intended to slow you down. Okay, speed bumps are intended to slow you down, but that's a physical barrier. But by giving a psychological, I mean, you're not going to run full sprint through a narrow gate opening. So what they're doing is they're modifying your behavior, is what they're doing. They're modifying your driving behavior by putting you through a narrower channel. And again, what that does is that reveals that they are aware of psychological manipulation within the city. They use those tools to leverage you to behave a different way. And it's the same thing with hundreds and hundreds of other things per month that they do to you that you're unaware of unless you're told the trick. That's why that's the game. That's another piece of the game. That's them playing the game right in front of you. And sometimes they reveal a little bit about the positions, a little bit about the structure of the game right out in the open. So anyway, with that, dive in movies. I don't know if it'll be hot enough for that. Maybe people sitting on the deck, maybe putting their feet in the water. Who knows? But that's an event coming up. We've got that meeting passed. The cruise in. I'll put the Memorial Day event up here. But there's a State of the City that's tomorrow in Desert Hot Springs. And I got a couple of really good articles. I've been working on getting this more streamlined. This whole process of putting shows together and uploading them and stuff like that. I'll get faster at it. I'll have time to write more articles. But you can email me, steverjgivney at gmail.com, steverjgivney at gmail.com, with any tips or any ideas, any show ideas or any guest suggestions. Anybody want to be a guest? I'll have you as a guest. If you're interested in calling in, I'm setting up a phone line. I'm going to have a phone line. I'm going to have a phone right here on the desk. I'm going to be able to take calls and put you on a speakerphone, let you speak your mind. So that's coming. It's getting good. It's getting really, really. I'm getting used to this. I feel good. I feel like this has been smooth to get this all going. So you have a great day. It's 11 in the morning. Wow. So it's a late one and the show ran long. So share it with your friends. Email me with anything you want to email me about the show, about the website. Newsanddhs.com, newsanddhs.com. Independent News, Desert Hot Springs. Your source for the only unaffiliated with any lapdog organization news outlet in Desert Hot Springs. So until tomorrow, you stay classy or stay strong. You do your part to be moral and just. Anyway, that's my. You do what you want. I don't mean to sound like a preacher. Thanks, Desert Hot Springs. Talk to you soon.